This is the one with 18th century France.
And a horse on a spaceship and clockwork automatons.
And a really hot girl.
Dude, come on.
When she's of age. Jeez.
And a lonely angel.
It's called Girl in the Fireplace.
Here we go.
We're still on our endless voyage, all through time and all through space.
With Levine and angels now, Daleks, Cybers, and dude, wow!
Tennant, Smith and Eccleston, Gallifrey, where it all began.
Doctor Who is cool again, that was Russell's master plan.
Who back when? Reviewing all new Who there is. Who back when?
Subscribe and rate on iTunes, please.
Rose and Donna, Amy Pond, Rory, Martha and beyond. Join us on this odyssey, what other choice could there be than Who back when? Who back when?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode N018 of Who Back When, a Doctor Who podcast. I am Ponkin.
I am Nicolele.
Yes, you are. This is a new one in New Who, for Who Back When. You may have noticed there's no JD around, but fret not.
Oh, we're sans JD.
Yes. Nous sommes sans JD.
Sans JD.
Fret not, JD is behind the scenes. Unfortunately, I'm gonna say this right away so that the trolls out there don't start trolling us about this. JD will unfortunately be slightly absent from the show for possibly as much as 2 months, we'll see. But he is still very much a part of Who Back When. So in the meantime, Nick, you're going to be part of the new Who crew, right?
You're gonna have to stick it out with me until we have the much more informed JD back on the roster.
How are you going to be able to cope with this?
I have absolutely. I'm going to just make trivia up that doesn't exist.
Yeah, which actually leads me to the first trivia point of this episode. Did you know that every scene was actually shot backwards?
Yeah.
Yeah, true science fact.
Absolutely. And did you know that Horth was from actually from 18th century France?
Well, it was French.
Yeah, it was
They
French.
took great care to get a French horse.
Anyhow, it's actually three 18th century French men in a horse costume. Okay, so
shall we bite-sized chunk of Who it?
Absolutely.
Bite-sized chunk.
In the 51st century, a key-shaped spaceship with a flat tire is stalking a woman from the 18th century pre-revolutionary France.
Doc and Co. arrive on board to find that A, the ship is partially powered by human remains, and B, is intertemporally connected with the Palace of Versailles.
It turns out clockwork robots have set their gears on Madame de Pompadour and her very tasty, tasty brain, eagerly awaiting its completion.
Ooh. B-Scout over.
I think so.
You are welcome.
Grand. Okay. So I think we start very aptly at the beginning, just to frame the episode.
As good a place as any.
Yeah. So Mickey Ricky has joined us.
Fuck him.
Yeah, no. Well, okay, we'll moving on. I know. So Tennant and Rose, and Mickey.
Yeah, the three of them. No, I just genuinely do not approve of that. Fortunately, Mickey Ricky, we were talking about this just before we press record. Fortunately, his function in this episode is to not be that big a part of it. His function is basically to get Rose off screen.
He is the human equivalent of a distraction. Like, if you could take the abstract concept of being distracted and make it a person, that's Mickey for this episode. He's there to distract Rose from the Doctor, so he can so
that the Doctor can get down and dirty with Madame de Pompadour.
Absolutely, and that is his soul. And he actually
seconds after he sees her as a child, it's very inappropriate.
It's a great writing technique. I mean, he Rose is absent and sometimes functional and not pining. Well, sort of vague.
Sometimes functional. Rose is sometimes functional.
I mean it. Really, when you look back at all those sort of, which we'll go through obviously point by point, but there aren't any big major Rose points.
No.
And that's because she's off babysitting Ricky, which actually, if you think about it, Mickey's babysitting her.
Well, I'd like to think of him as the thorn on that rose. Sorry.
No.
Sorry. Well, who knew I rose to the occasion? Or whatever, fuck it, cut that one. Okay, well anyway, so they're now on this spaceship, and very much in the same vein as when they arrived on Satellite 5, Rose, the cringeworthy Adam, and Eccleston, we get a scene of Rose basically showing off her space-time skills.
Her worldliness. It's like a student off a gap year that just wants to tell me all about what Peruvian culture's like. So you're there for like 6 weeks.
Yeah, can you not tell that I'm wearing a shirt made out of hemp?
Yeah. Hemp and llama. It's 50%. It's a blend.
It's a hemp blend.
Yeah, all of them wear it. They all wear it. It's very authentic. That's the equivalent.
It was
of
quilted by a blind grandmother.
Absolutely.
It's true. I was there when she was blinded.
That's what Rose is doing. She's on her gap year, and is showing her mate around. And you know, with great glee, she's showing Mickey what the 51st century. You know, she's like, yeah, this is just day in a life. Just day in life. It's all good.
The contrast that I think you can absolutely pinpoint here is, as in to the scene with Adam, is that in the scene with Adam, she had to basically fake it. She had to ask Eccleston, what is this place? How old is it? How do you know? Blah blah. And he was like, it's probably the year blah blah, and you can tell by the hum that it's a spaceship of this model.
Yeah.
And then she pretended to know it. In this case, she's like, I'm going to drop some knowledge.
Yeah, or even not so much that, she's just like comfortable with not knowing and that being cool. Is there like
actually, that's a good
projection?
point.
The projection is like,
it's
you know
adventure.
what?
Let's go find out.
I don't know what's around that corner, but I'm cool. I've seen shit, baby. I've seen stuff.
Yeah,
like is the general idea. So is it at this point that they first meet the Clockwork automaton, or do they hit the Fireplace?
I think it's Fireplace first. Then he sort of brings one back with him.
Oh yeah, shit. That's why. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go for the Fireplace. So so the Doctor encounters this perfectly restored and not restored 18th century working fireplace.
Yeah.
And he scans it with his sonic screwdriver.
It's really quite odd.
Which it's weird. And go, yes, it's a real thing.
And he looks through the fireplace.
Oh yes.
Right? The first time I think he looks through the fireplace and there's a girl at the other end.
Little blonde girl.
Yeah, and she's like, what are you doing in the fireplace? He's like, I'm just a fireplace inspector or some shit.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Okay, so first weird little inconsistency that annoys me, which it annoys me a lot about Doctor Who, certainly New Who, is that he says, Monsieur, what are you doing in my fireplace?
I know,
Why
so TARDIS, make up your bloody mind and translate everything or nothing.
Absolutely, why is Monsieur... We have a word for that.
JD and I had a conversation about it in one of the audiobook reviews. Which one was it? Whatever. The one that's not a werewolf story, whatever it's called.
Is it in Paris?
No, fuck it, I'm not going to remember, but that's a great reference. Anyway.
But anyway, so the point being, that annoys me. Why I get that, you know, we're supposed to ham up the France bit because there's nothing more French than 18th century France, is there, really? But, that just makes no sense. Anyway.
Yeah, well, later on, they do a great job when he meets grown-up Renette and she's like ramming a baguette up herself. Sorry.
That was actually cut. That was a deleted scene. Trivia facts. Straight from JD. He wrote all of these. Anyway, so he talks to the little girl and says, you know, why are you I'm just doing an inspection, which is his usual sort of garb.
Yeah.
Then he pulls a candlestick, as is one of the great tropes of...
There is always something to swing Should we mention that we recorded this before? Let's mention that we recorded this.
Okay, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, check this out. This is basically take 2 of this episode.
Yeah. We did actually record 2 fantastic hours of programming.
With JD. Yeah, the 3 of us.
But it got really cerebral
we tried to freeform it rather than stick to the chronology of the episode.
At some point, there was a Carl Jung reference.
There were several Carl Jung references. And also, about 2 hours into the recording, we called it quits because we had only got about 10 minutes into the episode. So, this is take 2. But JD made this point before, that this trope, holy Jesus crap, does this occur often? If there is a fireplace, it will swing around.
Oh, yeah. And just lots of things, you know, pulling books. And it's a satisfying one. I'm happy for it.
It's super satisfying. When I was a kid, did I say this the last time we recorded? Like, when I was a kid, we would we went somewhere to look at a flat. I think my parents and I were moving house, and there was a fireplace, and I literally went and pressed stuff, thinking, there must be a hidden compartment or whatever. Nice. There wasn't, sadly.
Yeah. So, he swings round into the little blonde girl's bedroom.
She's now asleep.
She's asleep, and then she wakes up in the and says, I'm the guy in your fireplace. We talked a couple of seconds ago.
Yeah, she was like, what? That was fucking months ago.
Months ago, Monsieur. Obviously.
Also, wait, hang on. This is an entirely different time, an entirely different part of the universe. Why is the translation matrix still working?
Through the portal that's still open.
Or... You have an explanation for everything, don't you?
Alternatively, Shut up. That's why.
Okay, yeah, I think we found your catchphrase.
Yeah, there it is. Anyhow, so we're back in the room with the doctor and the infant Rennet.
And now he encounters the droid, right? I think.
Well, he says, I mean, it's one of the, it's kind of like it begins to be like a Moffatian trope, like he's like, now I'm really scared. So why? It's like, because if that clock is broken, what's that ticking?
I like it. I think it calls back to something else.
What's it do?
It calls back to the, as in, not calls back, but thematically it's very similar to that scene in, whatever it is, what's it called? Is it the Dr. Dances? It might be the Dr. Dances or the one before that, whatever it's called. Eccleston and Rose and Captain Jack are in the little boys, you know, the gas mask aliens. Like, they're listening to the little tape, like the tape recording, apparently a Nazi tape recorder, ask JD, of the kids. And then you hear the sound of the tape rolling because it's already gone out, right? But the kid is obviously still speaking, is in the room. Very similar, I think. It's like, wait, we hear that noise, but nothing should be making that noise.
Yeah, that's absolutely, and like I said, that happens a lot through it, and I mean, we won't discuss it now, but there will be lots more new Who's, with this, that function, like that.
Yeah, very probably. I can't really think of anything off the top of my head.
So many, but we'll get to it when we get to it, I guess. Okay. So anyway, there's definitely a ticking, and, he looks under the bed, and there's actually kind of a freaky moment where the robot stands up, and you can see the buckles of his shoes from one end of the bed.
Oh, it's so creepy.
It's very creepy.
I've got one of those toys here, by the way.
The creepy thing about it is, you know, obviously it's calling on all of our collective childhood fears of, you know, being in bed and being vulnerable by ourselves and there being something in there with us, and, you know, that's it. And the Doctor does a very charming thing of taking the monster away. That's the
with a line,
the greatest line. It's a great line.
Is this the
this is the monsters that they have nightmares too.
Yeah.
What do monsters have nightmares of, monsieur?
Me.
Yeah.
Mademoiselle. Anyway. Okay, so I've got a little toy of one of those doll droid thingies in front of me right now, and just have a look at this. It's wearing, I mean, okay, this is a very inaccurate approximation of it.
It's like Mike Myers crossed with the Joker.
Wearing a Venetian mask.
Yeah.
They wear Venetian masks.
Yes. Why? I think, because we don't really need to, like, I don't think that, I mean, for the audience, it just needs to be continental and 18th century.
Oh, really?
Pretty much.
That's all that's required.
Basically, you're all the same to us.
Also, like, you would assume that this is so that they'll blend in, right? So they've somehow fashioned proper period clothing. They've stolen clothes, or made clothes somehow, to blend in. They're wearing wigs. And then they put on this massive freaking Venetian mask. Why? Like, either they try to blend in or they don't give a shit.
Did 18th century France ever have, like, a masquerade culture? I mean, because that could be the sort of thing.
Sure, well, it's the court of Versailles. I'm sure they had tons of crazy parties.
So maybe, I guess. But I just...
Maybe that's what they think. It's like, oh, that's just Gaston. He always wears a stupid Halloween mask. What an idiot.
Yeah, well.
He thinks it's carnival every goddamn day. Gaston, get a life.
Yeah, maybe read a book. If you get that reference, then...
Pretty heavy.
Beauty and the Beast. Anyway. So,
which I saw for the first time ever, quite recently.
Did you?
Yeah.
All right, it's a different podcast for a different day.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're back in 51st century spaceship with the automaton, Rose, Mickey, and the Doctor. And does Rose freeze him, or does the Doctor?
I think it's the Doctor who freezes him.
The Doctor basically takes this giant gun-looking thing. It's like, is that a freeze ray? No, it's a fire extinguisher, and freezes the automaton,
which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Who then later
beams out.
Yeah. So he looks at their clockwork, and it's beautiful. And the Doctor gushes over the alien technology, as is his wont, which is, I mean, sometimes we're supposed to accept the fact that the Doctor is so, I don't want to say worldly, because that's absolutely the wrong verb, but like universally, like he's seen everything and every possible combination of all time, and then he's constantly aghast at, look at this beautiful technology. It's like, haven't you seen the end of the universe? Why does any of this shit?
How are you impressed by this thing?
Absolutely. Don't you live in a box that is bigger on the inside? This is just clockwork. Anyway.
Which is pretty clever, but how do they force form intelligent thought. They're a bunch of gears wrapped in plexiglass.
I feel like you can answer that.
Yeah, okay, fine. All right, so anyway, the Doctor now shoots off in one direction, I think.
No, the automaton itself teleports out. Yeah.
Okay.
Short range teleport.
Okay. Beams off screen. The Doctor goes in one direction, and Rose gives Mickey the other, or tells him to get another fire extinguisher, and this is basically the cue for let's go and have our own adventure and not really be part of the story.
Yeah, mom and dad have given us $10 to go watch a movie so they can get up to no good. That's essentially what that is. So they've gone off to find trouble, presumably, and the Doctor has disappeared back through the portal into 18th century France.
And actually, you know what? I think is this where they see like the eyeball and the stuff?
Yeah, well, yeah, this is the divergent bits in which to do that. So I think we stay with the Doctor.
Okay, go with the Doctor, because I do not remember what happens to him now.
Well, because
it's a snog.
Yes, it is. It is. You remember now, don't you?
Yeah, I remember that snog.
Anyway, so he's back in Renette's bedroom looking for little Renette.
Yeah.
And
no longer so little.
And so he is presented with a ravishly good-looking, grown blonde woman.
Let's have a soundbite here, by the way.
Let's.
Soundbite.
Renette. Well, goodness, how you've grown.
And she's revealed to be grown up.
She has grown. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Speaking of grown, grown.
And actually, I'm gonna just gonna keep going through you.
Yum.
Do you think she's attractive?
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't make that clear.
Did you not make that clear?
I think she is I think she's a stunner. And I don't normally fall for blondes, but this woman has me. You know what it is? Older chicks.
Older chicks.
Anyway. Hang on, wait. Trivia points.
Yes.
So this woman is played by whom? As in, this character is played by whom? What's her name?
I'm blanking on the name. But I mean, the one thing I do know is the actress that does play Renette,
Sophia Miles.
Sophia Miles is at this time was dating David Tennant.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, we've got to assume puts down to their fantastic on-screen chemistry.
Yeah, fantastic chemistry.
Yeah, I think is at this juncture they have a passionate kiss, and then he's delighted that he's. Oh, actually, here's a weird thing.
Something before the kiss. No, go for it.
No, mine's after the kiss, so you start.
Okay. I was gonna say he wants to find out what's actually going on. I think they would meet another Clockwork dude. Like, there's a Clockwork dude in the room or whatever.
Yeah, very possibly.
But he wants to find out why they're after her.
Yeah.
And thus performs a Vulcan mind meld on this woman.
Absolutely. I'm gonna back you up of all the copyright things that we've just infringed, because that is exactly what the BBC did. It's a fucking Vulcan mind.
Yeah, rest in peace, Leonard Nimoy, by the way.
Absolutely.
But seriously, okay, I am not au fait with Classic Who beyond the episode of Hartnell that I've seen and some Tom Bakers as a kid, or I think all Tom Bakers, but I do not remember the Doctor performing like telepathic seances with people.
I mean, certainly not to my mind, but then I don't know, maybe you could...
There are probably people in podcast land right now going like, you fucking Nimrods!
Or even if it did happen once or twice before, I don't think it's like a trope of a thing that he can do. Like, when did he have telekinetic power? Like,
not telekinetic, telepathic in this case.
Why wouldn't he use that more often?
Yeah, exactly. He would use that all the time. There's another thing, which Eccleston does in episode 2, N002. Oh god, did I just say that? N002, End of the World, where he slows down time to walk through the propeller in the well-ventilated room of death on the spaceship.
Well, actually...
And that has happened before. Right. That has happened in Classic Who. JD mentioned that I think he said Pertwee did it at one point. So maybe the whole telepathy thing is like, it's a callback to that one episode of Classic Who where, who knows, Sylvester McCoy read someone's mind.
I think it's just Moffat trying to get over the idea that you want it to build a real connection between Renette and the Doctor. You both have to know something about another. So rather than eat up any screen time, they do it in like 5 seconds.
Yeah, tell you what, well, he could like hypnotize her. He could use his vast intellect to manipulate whatever blocks there are in her memory to remember these things.
I think it's bullshit, because actually he encounters people throughout time and space.
Yeah.
And they don't need to be Vulcan mind melded to know shit about, or for him to know stuff. He just seems to be able to use his differential fucking diagnosis on everything.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he goes in to scan her, to look at her memories to see what they're looking for, blah, 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 blah. But she steps forward into his mind and learns all about the Doctor.
Yeah.
How he is.
So now this is like a telepathic free-for-all.
It is. It's a freaky mind love fest.
Don't know how I feel about this.
It's okay. And actually what's quite good is that I think this is the first framing of the modern Doctor as the lonely angel, the lonely god, the, singular wanderer, that kind of dark figure.
Well, he's referred to as the Lonely Angel.
Is he?
At the end, isn't he?
Oh, no, in this episode. I mean, just like in Who in general.
Yeah. But I mean, he's even given that moniker.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like he is, this is a lone wolf.
Yeah,
this is a dude who
I think this is the start, and, very much a Moffatism again, of a dark, and introducing a much, that part of that darkness that we saw in Dalek in, I don't know what episode that was in Eccleston.
6?
But yeah, those darkness, those dark parts of the newer Doctor.
Yeah.
That, that form part of his war criminal, lonely wanderer,
his PTSD backstory.
Last of a race of people. That sort of whole thing, I think, and the romanticizing thereof. Anyway, so Renette finds that about him, and then they snog.
Yeah, all of a sudden, that's a real kiss as well.
Yeah. It's a good one. So actually, here's kind of my point that I wanted to make, is that of the historicals, and we're going to call this historical, I know it's kind of like a bridging with the gap, JD.
It's a pseudo.
I know,
it's a pseudo historical.
Yeah, it's a pseudo, I get it, but you know what I mean. Basically, New Who doesn't really do proper historicals anymore, it does pseudos, doesn't it? Like, everything's alien.
Is that true?
Alien, are there any pure historicals? Because actually I think that all the historicals have an alien element.
Possibly. Oh, bloody
all
hell,
of
I
New
can't
Who,
remember.
I think that's the formula.
Really? There's gotta be something.
Pompeii, Shakespeare,
Alright, whatever. We'll see.
Let's go with that formula. Anyway, is that usually, let's say Russell T Davies or whoever, pick, what I'm going to call history's A-list.
That's what everyone does.
Well,
That's been the case throughout Doctor Who.
Well, absolutely. This, Madame de Pompadour, as a Renette de Poisson, is, I don't think, what you'd call a history A-lister.
Well, it's certainly a recognisable...
The time, certainly, and the things. But, I mean, I don't know, maybe when I was at age, I wonder if I knew that much about, maybe anything.
Yeah, but you know what? You can only have so many episodes about, like, Napoleon or the King or the Queen.
I think that's a fairly brave and kind of cool editorial thing that they set it around that maybe actually you'd go look up. Maybe you'd go look up the life of Renette de Poisson, real person and stuff, and the life, rather than the King, or rather than, like, like I said, we did a Shakespeare. There's a Shakespeare episode. There's a and even the history A-list can be about the specific event. Actually, in the life of de Poisson, there aren't too many crazy, remarkable points in history. Like there are after her.
I think there are huge points in history, but they're not brought up.
They're not
in
to do with her.
Episode.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm saying that. Yeah, the framing of it is more to do with her as a character that she's written than her as a person, which is kind of cool.
You know what? I'm sorry. I disagree. I think she is definitely an A-lister because she is freaking Madame de Pompadour. She is not. Oh, this is whatever her name is. Maybe. Who worked in the kitchen of that.
Well, yeah,
brothel.
but no. I think she's like a B-lister. Basically, of all like.
Okay, fine. She is, regardless, she is a celebrity as far as historical people go.
But I think that there are more facile things to pick. If you're going to sit down and write an episode of something, and you want to make it historical...
You know what the problem with French people is?
What?
They don't have a word for facile. Sorry.
I'm trying to sneak as many French words into this as possible.
Alright, anyway.
You get my point, is that I think it's a relatively brave writing choice.
Okay, sure, fine, whatever. Cool. Snog back through the fireplace.
Yeah. Oh, actually, so actually not back. We're going to cut to the parallel storyline, which is Mickey.
Oh, yeah, because they go party or whatever.
Yeah. So they go and they're trying to make some mischief, and they find stuff, and they do this and they do that, and then they find that the ship itself is
it's made of people.
Soylent Green. It's
the
made
ship
of people.
It is the Soylent Green of ships.
It is.
So that they find a heart that's been like hardwired into the ship because that makes sense, I think.
Absolutely no sense.
And then there's a camera that actually uses an eyeball because they have such good optics compared to cameras.
That makes more sense.
It makes more sense, sure, but I feel like, well, it's just gonna be blurry and shit. You can't zoom with an eyeball and whatever.
You can zoom with an eyeball. That's what we do.
You're the $6 million man. Can you oh, you know what? I'm just gonna...
No, actually, I mean, that's what happens if you have cataract surgery, like, you use the ability to, like, focus far and then quickly focus short. You basically zoom.
It's not a zoom. Zoom, like, increases in size.
Well, sort of, but, like, you know what I mean. Anyway.
Okay, whatever. This is not the eye podcast. They find all these bits and pieces. Were you thinking the same thing I was thinking?
Go on.
Where's the dick? Like, there is definitely a part of the spaceship that is powered by a dick.
It's quite clearly the gear shift.
I was thinking joystick.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, exactly. Gear shift. Wait, they have gear shifts on spaceships now?
Gear shifts.
Yeah, actually, you know what? It makes perfect sense. There's that. There's probably a boob or two. Some love handles.
I'd just be like, what are you doing with this dude's spleen? We don't really like... Anyway, so generally, they found that inexplicably, there's weird bits of human all over the place, and then they get captured by automatons.
Yeah.
So that brings us...
Fairly creepy.
Yeah,
and now they're having like a party, as in the Doctor and Renette, they're having a party.
Yes, or off-screen.
Off-screen, sure.
Off-screen. That he's living up in 18th century France whilst his companions struggle against the automatons.
Yeah.
And... Rose does this quite cute thing of saying, you know the Doctor, heard of the Daleks, all the site, all that sort of bollocks. And the Doctor stumbles in, seemingly drunk.
And, wait, hang on, before he does that, is this not the part where Mickey Ricky goes, the Doctor's abandoned us. He doesn't give a shit about us, because, don't you know how many women he knows around the world and blah blah, he's hanging out with some other birds. Yeah. Basically, Mickey Ricky is jealous, and he wants to get some of the competition out of the way.
Mickey Ricky's your girlfriend's friend. He's just a friend. He doesn't like me. He's just a friend.
And also, he's totally prepared to sell out the Doctor.
Yeah.
He, to the robots, he immediately goes, don't take us, take the Doctor.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but I'm pretty sure that's what he does.
Anyhow, the Doctor sort of comes in seemingly drunk to what seems like incompetently, like he's just sort of wandering in like folly, kind of Columbo style. He's just like, I'm drunk, I can't save you.
He's got his tie around his
Boom,
head.
I can save you. But then also he comes out with the worst bit of dialogue. I think of New Who up to this point, where he calls them thick persons from Thickania, and so's your dad. It's like, none of that is funny, charm. It's so bad.
Yeah.
I
know, but whatever. The kids watch this show and they probably went like, this is so charming.
Oh, don't know.
What a guy.
But anyway, so during his drunk musings, or seemingly drunk musings, he reveals the plan, or at least partially the plan, that these things have been scanning Renette's brain, waiting for it to be ready. And they've been tearing holes, like they couldn't pick the specific time, they could just get the right century, and they've been tearing holes throughout history to find the exact right time.
Yeah, and it seems
how old is she supposed to be? Like 27, something like that? I don't know. I forget.
I can't remember either. It's 27 or 37.
It's one of the two.
As in, like, when she's ready.
Ready, yeah. When she's complete.
Complete. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I'm gonna mention something that I mentioned the last time we did one, in take one.
Yeah.
And that is, there are portals all over this spaceship that lead to different parts of her life, or different times in her life. Why bother? Okay, you go into one place to check if she's okay, as in, like, if she's complete. Maybe she's not. You figure out when she's going to be complete, or you already know beforehand. And then you go to that fucking time, and then it's done.
Okay.
It's actually done.
How about this? How about this?
God, alright.
I got it right.
Yeah.
They're all going in simultaneously, right? Into, like, let's say there's 6 or 7 portals.
Do not tell me that this is the same droid in all of those times.
No. Like, as in, they've got 6 different droids in 6 different places, and then if because they don't know that they'll ever get it right to the right exact time, the one at 10 will just think, if I just sit here and no one notices me, I can wait this out 20 years and then get her
I'll
at the
just
right
pretend
time.
to be a clock.
Yeah, basically. And then the one thinks, when she sees it at 15 and one at 20, and then, just like, okay, I'll just stay here, and one of us might actually just wait this shit out. Come on, that was good. I didn't even tell you to shut up or anything.
Yeah. Okay, well, your story does check out, but...
These aren't the droids you're looking for.
It ticks me off a little bit, because I feel like if you can go to any time, then you wouldn't bother going to when she's a child, because obviously she's not going to be complete.
That's the thing. They can't go to any time. That's the point the Doctor makes. They did really well to get the right century, so now they're just ripping out bits.
Whatever, they have a door already set up. It's not like, oh, we're experimenting and now we're going to open this door to when she's 27 or however old she is. Yeah. It's like, there is a freaking door there, yeah? And they are already there. Like, they have gone through that door. So, clearly, they have opened this. They've gone back in time, in fact. So, back in time shouldn't... Alright, sod it. Check this out. They opened that door to a time that happened before the year... What year is this, by the way? The 51st century. They opened a door to a time before the 51st century. The consequences of their actions should have hit the 51st century before the Doctor even arrived on the spaceship and had a chance to go back and stop them.
Now, there's probably some wibbly-wobbly timing.
I think there is a lot of wibbly-wobbly stuff.
Probably like creating some sort of... I don't know. Basically, is the long and short of it. The more pertinent question would be, is that if you can get to Rhiannon when she's 15, why hide in her bedroom? Why not hide down the road where no one's looking for you? Wait 20 years, and then...
Yeah, enjoy yourselves in
18th century France. Turn up, whack her, take a brain, pop back through the... That does make any sense. Anyway.
Whatever. Yeah. All right, timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly.
Yeah, moving on.
Okay.
So the
Doctor dismantles one of the things. So
sort of, or just incapacitates it, but then they turn up, but then they go crazy again. But then they figure out that she's ready. She's complete, and they find the right door. So they zoom off. The Doctor and Rose and
which is dumb, because they freaking built the door, they opened... Okay, I'm not going back into that.
Yeah, let's not.
It's dumb.
But they hatch a plan to... They can't... Or they're going to try to beat the droids to Renette. Yeah. But they realise that what they can do is warn an earlier version of Renette. So use those portals against them.
Yeah, okay.
So Rose goes and has a lovely little tete-a-tete.
Yeah.
Tete-a-tete. See? More French.
Nice one.
Anyway, because this is all being translated by the TARDIS, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm speaking fluent French, just the odd phrase. Anyhow, so yeah, it's Rose has this little head-to-head with Renette, which is very charming and actually shows that I think the exchange is quite poignant in showing that Renette is a powerful, confident, intelligent person.
Well, yeah, she's basically spent her entire life up until this point knowing that there's something terrible that is inevitably going to befall her.
Yeah.
So she's grown up.
There's a great
more
bit
quickly
where
than
Rose
she
says
should have.
oh, it's complicated. And she's like, well, speak quickly and I will be attentive, or something like that, like really sharp, like speak sharp, because actually her personality type is more for like the Rose is always seeking the Doctor's validation in some way.
Well, she's like, check it out, Chiquita. I let the king plow me, and in exchange, I influence politics. Yeah, it's like
whereas
what do you do? You wear dungarees.
Yeah, Renette is more of. I think the exchange is of equals, or at least more so in personality types between the Doctor and Renette. Whereas the Doctor and Rose is a little bit more complicated in terms of like one dotes on the other in like a looking up to. Whereas Renette doesn't look up to the Doctor. In some ways, kind of vaguely pities him for his loneliness.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know if pities. Like,
you know
she
what I'm saying? She empathizes. Yeah,
because she also is quite lonely, or has been quite lonely. Something else that's interesting here, I think, is Rose's attitude towards her, because it's not as you may have been led to believe at this point that okay, she's going to be very jealous. Instead, it's like Rose knows that this poor woman is like she's about to face something awful.
Yeah, she's put aside her whatever
like petty interests. Yeah, exactly. Which is that's pretty admirable.
That is pretty okay. Yeah, I didn't really think about that too hard, but that's
well done, Rose.
That's well done,
Rose.
Rose, you exist. Yeah. We forgot the fucking horse.
Oh yeah. Oh wait, you know what? Let's just finagle it in there. All right, so retcon. There's a horse on the ship. And now we continue.
Okay. Yeah, there's a fucking horse.
Oh, by the way, we've had dinosaurs on spaceships. We've had other animals on spaceships. Now there's a horse on a spaceship.
Renette comes back through the portal.
Yes,
with
she
Rose,
does.
And gets a glimpse into a bleak and disturbing 51st century, which takes back to her.
Yeah, and not just that, she hears the screams of her own future through another portal.
Which, again, lends credence to the whole, like, she's just a crazy, strong person, because it doesn't send her loop-de-loo. She goes back to the 18th century and just is more, and, like, she just more badass for the rest of her life. Even with the knowledge of all that, which I think we're supposed to infer, like, strength.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. So anyway, the fucking horse.
Okay, so I think we get there's a little bit of a party scene at first, and then all of a sudden, shit goes down in Versailles. So now the droids have decided she's complete, we're now gonna go get her, blah, 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 blah. Don't worry, it's okay, we don't need you alive, we just need your head. And then kablamo.
Yeah.
Because the Doctor... Wait, hang on. Remind me. Why can the Doctor and Rose and Ricky not just go through a portal and stop them? Why does the Doctor need to...
Okay, wait.
Tally-ho through a mirror?
Before we get through the tally-ho and the fucking horse. Anyway, there is, again, another cool Madame de Pompadour bit, where in the seemingly, like the end of her life, or what she might think to be, with, fucking 51st century robots all over the place, brandishing weird, like... switchblades in front of everyone's face. Yeah. She says, everyone be calm, this is Versailles, which is bad.
It is pretty badass. We show some decorum, people. Yeah. There are weird mechanical men
she just
taking over the courts.
Does not give a fuck.
But we are French, except for all of the minorities who historically do not belong in this scene, but who are here as a whatever.
Now, I might make an appeal to our French listeners. The way she says we are French is how, basically as a Brit... How you guys imagine French people to be? No. It's I don't want to say the opposite, but I'm saying that that's a trope of Britishness. Stiff upper lip in the face of ridiculousness. To be like, don't be hysterical, you're British.
You're right.
Anything else
is
intolerable. Like emotion, fear, or any of those sort of things aren't British. So I never really align that with your sense of Frenchness like that. Not to say that they're the opposite. I'm just saying
there's a tremendous difference between the stereotype of French people today, as in the English stereotype of French people today, and the English stereotype, or whatever stereotype, of French people back then. Yeah. Today, it's very much the opposite. It's like, oh, you and your quivering labia, whereas back then it's like, oh, you and your stiff upper lip because you have decorum. Well, so very possibly that's just because everything was stricter among the aristocracy.
That's the thing I want to get at. I want to know whether there was an ideal, and it's not really a stereotype, but like a cultural ideal in France at that time of a stiff upper lip. Basically, did you have the exact same type of thing that we had in the 18th century, where 18th, 19th, 20th, basically our entire lives?
I reckon in the court, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
In fact, I would almost say in any court.
Yeah, probably. But you know, like, I don't know, it's said with that we're French and we're like, and there was something in it that just sounds like a bit of a reach. That actually it's a thing
beyond pride.
It's a thing that would be very appealing in terms of showing strength to a British audience, which obviously this is vaguely primarily written for. Yeah. So whether he's just like plucked that out the air as a fun thing to say, or whether it actually is a real like, that's what the French court would have, that was one of the ideals they held up.
Okay, well, I think partly this is a royal court, and everyone has practically been, like, they've been socially conditioned to always have great posture, to show decorum, to be polite, to do all these things in a certain manner, and not to panic and scream and be vulgar about it. Okay. This is the aristocracy, that's how you act.
I think I want to throw this open to our French listeners.
But also, hey, guys, pop on to whobackwhen.com and plop a comment on the page. Okay, but the other thing I think is really like, well, and I think with good reason, like, they're French, they're proud of it, so boom. And I think that's actually part of the stereotype in general.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'll get that. I'll just
I reckon French people are considered by non-French people, this is not meant to be offensive anyway, I reckon French people are considered by non-French people to be more proud of their national heritage than Not all, but most others. Like, okay, I grew up in Sweden. Swedes are not, and I don't think are considered to be, like, proud of their Swedishness or their Swedish heritage.
Right.
Or, like, their Swedish identity, whereas French people, it's like, well, yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
You have fucking crazy amounts of culture.
Well,
huge
I don't know.
names and art and literature and everything.
I don't want to claim the trope of the stiff upper lip, but that phrase just sounds.
I think it's a
British,
great
doesn't it?
spot.
Like it's you know, something I grew up with, and I'm sure the rest of us here in Britain will very much identify as the one of like 3 things you might think of when you think of a British person.
Yeah.
Repressed, stiff upper lip, cups of tea. And we're weirdly, perversely proud of that.
Fighting in pubs. Hooliganism.
With a stiff upper lip, not hysterically.
Kabalamatron, anyway, the Doctor now tally-hos through a bloody mirror on the horse.
Fucking horse.
The horse that we mentioned in a timely fashion, I believe, in this review.
Timely in chronological fashion.
Yeah. However, I don't think you answer the question. Remind me, how come he had to tally-ho? Why couldn't he just go through the portal?
Do you really need to know?
Yeah.
Shut up, Leon. That's what. No.
Okay, no, I feel like there was an actual
I'll give you a
reason.
thing.
I feel like there was a reason.
There isn't a reason. It's just it seems more badass to smash through something to save the day.
Was there? Are you sure there wasn't a reason?
There's no reason. There's this mirror that we can see the king get dressed in some point earlier in the episode.
Yeah.
But it's not fully explained how the automatons got into that room.
Okay.
How did they get into the room?
Through, like, the door.
They say teleport, but they used all of the other portals to get through, like, the fucking fireplace, etc.
I reckon they teleported to a different part of the ship and then went through a door into Versailles.
Into the same point in history as the mirror.
Yeah, but this is why the bloody portals into the past don't work. It's like, okay, you went into the past. Oh, well, I guess I've now been erased because the timeline has been rewritten. It's not like, you went into the door into the past,
unless
million years ago.
All of the portals,
Thousands.
like, sustain some sort of paradox until they're closed. Multiple timelines.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I like it. Alright, he kablamos through the mirror, saves the day, basically.
Yeah.
Let's wrap that up. But because he shot through the mirror is now closed. It's no longer a portal to the future. But spoiler alert.
As are all other portals that existed within Versailles.
Which is bullshit, because it turns out there is a bloody portal still up and running, and he can just go through that. And also, let's point out that in the beginning, he was looking through the portal. He didn't have to, like, shimmy-shammy and swing around the wall to get into the room. He could just look through it and actually, like, have contact with that time. There was fire in between. Like, there wasn't a force field or whatever. It was just a bloody opening into the past.
Right.
So, clearly, molecules and shit can pass through there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the problem?
So, why didn't that disconnect the ship from Versailles? Why is it when you break a mirror that it disconnects? And also, here's what I want to know. What happened to the goddamn horse?
He's in Versailles now, which is where he should have been.
The horse is in Versailles
Which
now?
is where he came from.
Yeah, probably. Wait, hang on. How did they get a... Wait.
The horse walked through one of the fucking portals in the garden bit. There's a garden scene, and we forgot to narrate. Anyway.
Alright, fine.
So anyway, Renette had painstakingly disassembled and reassembled the fireplace from her childhood.
Yeah.
Presumably as some sort of memento.
Memento.
And they reinstall it and get it working.
So piece by piece, you say?
So the connections were
they were not severed?
They weren't severed.
Dismantled this thing?
Shut up. Yeah, some shit. And he's able to reconnect. So basically, he thought there's this very poignant moment where he thinks he now lives in 18th century France.
Yeah.
Which he's upset, and there are some cool things where he says like, I'm going to need some money. Where'd you get money?
Yeah.
And that's sort of cool
and that's
things.
Lovely.
Because that's that idea of like him, understanding, he has to be terrestrial. Actually, the sort of bittersweet part of it is that he's vaguely looking forward to being tied down.
It's like retirement.
It is. Well, it's kind of even more than that. It's finding a home for a man without a home.
Yeah.
He's now forced to have one.
Yeah.
I mean, quite a fucking home.
He will now settle down.
Yeah.
Even though, let's face it, the king would bloody guillotine him immediately. It's like, wait, hang on. So You're flirting with the chick that I'm
Everyone's
trying to
fucking. It's cool.
pound all the time? Okay, maybe that is it. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Sorry, French people, for stereotyping in that. Okay.
They've got two stereotypes: stiff upper lips and fucking,
And smoking, and alcohol.
smoking and alcohol.
And can.
Oh man, it's cool.
Oh man,
Let's all go
French
to France.
amazing people. Oh, I love French people.
Anyhow.
Okay, whatever. Check this out. In the scene, I have 2 problems with the scene, okay? Number 1, it turns out Mickey Ricky was right, because the Doctor doesn't give a shit about Rose and Mickey Ricky.
Because he just loses them on the 51st.
He's like, you are now stuck in the 51st century. You guys don't know about, survival and shit. You're obviously going to die. And there are very possibly more droids on that ship.
So does that mean you sacrificed 2 people?
And
for
Mickey.
You sacrificed Rose and Mickey for the sake of one?
Yeah, pretty much.
For Madame de Pompadour.
Yeah,
So,
and his future,
fuck.
basically, as in his future with it, and his TARDIS.
Yeah, but-
he sacrifices the bloody TARDIS.
That's true.
Like, point is, problem number 1 with the scene is he doesn't give a shit about Rose and Mickey Ricky because they are now obviously going to die. Problem number 2, and or be stripped for parts. Yeah. Problem number 2. Why?
Oh shit! Yeah, they're about to be stripped of parts.
Yeah, exactly. What are they going to do with Mickey Ricky? I don't know. They're going to make a pinball machine out of his nuts.
Oh, we can really use this asshole
As what?
to. I'm going to say this to decorate cakes.
Oh, it's perfect. Okay, yeah. All right. I like it very good. Okay, but do you remember in Parting of the Ways, Rose actually pilots the TARDIS, as in she somehow mind melds with the TARDIS and thus goes back to get the Doctor on Satellite 5.
Yeah.
Shazamatron, why doesn't that happen?
Is that on Satellite 5 where she assumes the tart? Is that the vortex?
Yeah, like
it almost kills her.
His mum and her mum and Mickey Ricky, they like use a tow truck to open the TARDIS. And all the lights blows up into her face.
Yeah, no, but she's that's the heart of the TARDIS and it nearly killed her. So
yeah, exactly. She stared into the vortex.
Yeah.
And then, or the heart of the TARDIS, and blah, blah, blah. But she connects with the TARDIS and goes
but you
back
can't
to
do
go...
I guess you couldn't do that too many times. That's an idea. Like, it's like a one-time shot and she used it up. Right, so there are more problems. But anyway, the beauty of the scene is that when he finds the reconnection and they can go back, he says, it's great. Renette, pick a star in the night sky.
Yeah.
And we'll go there. So she dutifully goes to the
because she's now going to be the companion.
Absolutely. And that's kind of what we're set up for. And as an audience member, I don't want that not to be the case. I want her to come because she's awesome.
I agree. I completely agree.
And we're all...
It would have turned into a very different show, though.
All lulled into this idea that they're going to make this work somehow. He goes off into the 51st century.
Because he's an idiot.
I mean, that's
why leave her behind?
Why not just come with me and we'll just go to some stars?
Yeah, you don't need to... It's not like he goes, you know what, go and pack a bag,
so actually,
and I'll be right back.
Actually, if you think about it,
I think he fucked her. I think he totally...
He meant to. Do you think he meant to just leave her behind?
Dude, fuck your date.
Yeah.
Hey!
That's true.
Everyone who's seen Star Trek Swing Shift. Applaud.
All 2 of you. Now, the thing is, he's either done that, or that he's ruined something wonderful for the sake of his own ego. He didn't need to go pick that, do that romantic thing, that impressive thing of pick a star in the night sky, baby, and I'll take you there. Like, his ego is unwittingly his fault. That pride comes before a fall.
I don't think that's ego. I think that's just him being a romantic. I think it may be a little bit over... It's overly cheesy, but I think... No, I don't... Well, as in, I don't think it was, I'm going to try to impress you. I think it's like, I genuinely want to share the beauty of the universe
I
with
think
you.
there's a duality in that. I think that he could have just done that.
Yes, but that's my point. And the only reason he didn't was because the writers and producers didn't want her to be the companion.
Obviously,
so we've got this thing going with Rose, and we've already established what's going to happen.
I think so,
but
I'm trying to decouple why that character. So the writers obviously wrote it for a.
And let's have that dramatic effect of
But the Doctor that does actually say something about him as a character and as a person. Like he's kind of He's either fucked her over,
Well-
or is unwittingly, like, you know, become the fall of his own pride. Like,
You know what? I'm gonna combine those two. I'm gonna say he's unwittingly fucked her over.
but it's just like, yes, on the other side. It's like, yeah.
No, but seriously, I think he genuinely wants to be with her. He's already.
Do you think he has commitment issues?
No, I think he's super duper ready to commit to this woman because for the first time in, at the very least, a very long time, he's met an equal of sorts. But I think it's really clumsily written that he goes, oh, I'll be right back, leaves her somewhere where every single time up until this point, when you go back to the spaceship and you come back around, a lot more time has passed.
I know, but I don't know. I think at the time, and even sort of return, I can't get sucked in by the whole hope that that's actually what's going to happen. And I'm always a bit like when he goes back. So okay, we'll go through to finish up this episode. And so he goes back to the 5th century, finds Mickey and Rose, and it's all cool.
It's like, hang on, I'll go get the new companion.
I think that's a point where we flash a very large scene of Rose's jealousy. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Dude, did we just say that at the same time?
A little bit.
High five on air.
That's happening. So he goes back to 18th century France to pick up his now new paramour, I guess.
Yeah.
In Renette. And everything's changed.
Paramour,
the lighting's changed. Yeah, right. More French.
Well done.
And the lighting's definitely, there's a lot in there, isn't there?
Yeah, stuff has changed.
Yeah, so it's all dark, the new lights, and the colours are blue and cold, and you just...
It's dark, it's raining
and
outside.
Still, and we just know that life's changed.
Yeah, and the king is there.
The king's there?
Again, something we discussed in take 1, historical inaccuracy. The king is like this young, good-looking man, as opposed to a man of age.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
But whatever. He asks where Renette is. He's like, she's leaving for Paris.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to infer the subtext from that she's passed on and is...
Yeah, we even see the
we see the coffin.
being, yeah.
But I think that initial, 5 seconds of she's gone to Paris.
Yeah.
We're supposed to go, oh...
yeah.
It's like it's almost like a euphemism, she's gone to Paris. The Paris in the sky. But actually, it's that whole trope
She's gone to live in Paris.
Is that...
where all of your previous mistresses have gone to live and they run around on fields every day.
Absolutely. They've gone, it's that TV trope of, where's Renette? She's been dead for 10 years. Yeah, that whole thing.
You said you were going to say it on the podcast? You did.
I did.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nick does not lie.
It's one of my favourites, as TV tropes go. Anyway, so the king has a letter that Renette penned.
Yeah, which oddly he hasn't read.
Yeah, which is...
Because he cares.
Well, because actually, I think vaguely we're supposed to infer that the king was a good and righteous person.
Yeah. Okay, whatever.
So the king gives her the letter and asks what it says.
The doctor doesn't even read it.
No. Does he not read it?
I think he reads it back on the TARDIS.
No, because he said, what did he say? And, he puts it in his jacket, and the king, again, says something that I think is weirdly quite British, or a Britishism.
I can't remember. What does he say?
Quite right.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he says quite right.
Oh, that's
which is
mega British.
Just sounds very British, right? Is
that the trope then? Not the trope. Is that the stereotype? That's, so old-timey aristocratic French people equal whenever you want aristocratic / military English people.
Yeah, pretty much. As well as,
BBC posh.
And you can whack a Venetian mask on basically anything pre-20.
Which makes it continental.
Continental. Basically just like a ramming together of all the major European civilizations into 3.
Yeah, the Venetian mask actually does tick me off. Whatever. Alright.
Tick me off, lovely. Anyhow.
Unintentional. Whatever. Okay. He goes back to the TARDIS, Shazamatron, Rose and Mickey Ricky get it, so the chick's passed away.
Yeah.
And Mickey Ricky actually shows kind of a moment of compassion and goes, hey, Rose, why don't you show me around the TARDIS or whatever?
Yeah.
And they head off. And then I think the doc reads the letter and it's basically I waited for you for 74,000 years and you didn't show up, until I died 8 years later. But I never forgot you. And that's where she called him my lonely angel.
Oh, damn.
Kablamo.
There it is. We missed a few things, but I think we're basically listening.
Probably.
There.
All right, let's review the shit out of this thing.
Let's.
Reviews.
Actually, I mean, there's a lot to say. So much so that we had an entire other fucking podcast that we recorded about this. So my review, this is completely off the hoof. You might not know it by the amount I've disparaged this show, or this particular episode, but goddamn do I love this episode. I think actually, on balance, it might be my favourite episode of all of New Who.
Bold statement.
That is so bold, but I vaguely believe in it. It's hard to do this on a show of reviewing these things and not leave you any wiggle room for future episodes that we're about to redo. But I really believe that. I really believe that this is the first and best showing of Moffat. I think it's patient in many ways in its story writing, to try to give in a swashbuckling element as well as a good love story, in sort of, it gives with both hands in those regards. It is, I mean, I guess this might ring a bit hollow for some listeners as a man commenting on this, but, I think a really great female lead, lead to the story, which is not completely typical of a Doctor Who writer. There are so many really shitly written. Not yet. But I'm just saying, up until now, we've been treated to a whole host of really poorly written female characters that are essentially foils for their male counterparts, for the Doctors and such. But, Renette isn't. She's her own entity, and like I said, the energy is equal to the Doctor's in the episode. And like I said, that introduction of the lonely angel, the wandering god, as well, it's nicely framed and started here. I mean, taken to hyperbole, but here it's patient and little, and you're not known it. Someone has to interpret it for you. Someone is his equal, and it's, I don't know, man, it's just very cool all over. And then we're left with sadness. It's kind of a nice fablo as well at the end. We don't have to, there are no more strings to tie up. It just comes to a denouement, not fablo. That's what I meant. Denouement. Denouement.
Okay.
Sorry, all the French. Anyway, so we're going high on this one.
I mean, if it's the best ever, I'm kind of assuming that you're going to give this a 5.0.
Oh, it gives me no wiggle room for Capaldi, though. It gives me none, does it? So I don't think we can do that.
And there are some great episodes. I'm sorry to interrupt you during your mini, but there are some great episodes between now and Capaldi.
Yes, but I really believe in the idea that there are none greater than this on balance. There are some great ones that we're going to have a lot of fun with. But I think if we're going for ratings just for one episode, in the 45 minutes or however long they are running time, I don't think you get better story writing up till now.
What are you giving this, man?
Oh, it's so hard because I don't. The thing is, when you listeners, when you give
circling it,
sorry. When you give a thing for this, you want to kind of be optimistic. So you don't want to give a 5.0 because what you're essentially saying is that no writing will ever live up to this. Why bother? And I don't want to think that. I certainly don't want to think that of Moffat, and I certainly don't want to think that of the writing team and Capaldi and the rest. So I'm gonna go for a very well considered 4.8.
Wow. Well, that's a good rating. You clearly like this episode.
I love this episode.
I know you love this episode.
That's why we had to record an entire other podcast about this episode and then bin it.
Who knows, by the way, we may release bits of that as bonus content at some point.
Bonus content.
Who knows?
We might actually have to release it as an academic piece of work.
Transcribe it, publish it.
Yeah.
Okay, 4.8. Nice
4.8. I stand by that.
Okay. I'm not going to go quite as high, but I will echo your sentiment. I absolutely love this episode, despite all the shit that we've thrown its way. Before I go into some of the details, here are two things that we failed to mention during our review. Number one, the actual closing of the episodes, which I think we both just completely forgot. The tying together of Renette and the 51st century. When Doc and Co. dematerialize and whizzy bang through space-time, we see the exterior of the ship, and it's actually called
The Madame de Pompadour.
Bingo
yes.
bongo.
Which is why they were so obsessed with, the automatons of getting Madame de Pompadour.
Which
they were confused.
Which is already like, holy crap, bonus points. That's pretty cool.
That is very cool.
It's a very nice ending to it.
Do you know what? It is an ending that Moffat has not been able to work out on a series level. To be able to
That's true, actually.
hint at something and then it to all come together at the end.
Yeah.
He's not been able to do that in the way that T. Davis has. And so he does it.
And also, this episode basically, and I think this is also another reason why I want to give this a high mark, it has 3 endings. It has holy crap, it has 4 endings. It ends first with Tennant and Renette. Then it ends with Tennant and the King. Then it ends with Tennant, Rose and Mickey Ricky. And then it ends with the exterior of the ship. And they're all on they're all hitting different strings, different notes.
Different notes.
It's very cleverly crafted. Well done. The second thing that we didn't mention is the theme of the Doctor visiting a girl, leaving to be right back and coming back when she's a grown woman. We see that later on in Who with Amy Pond.
Yeah.
And
the girl who waited.
Yes, exactly. And even though we technically haven't seen that yet, as in, from the point of view of the girl in the fireplace, that hasn't happened yet. But now that we're looking at it in this Doctor Who retrospective, holy crap, that's awesome. It's like a call forward into the inevitable.
But then I'm going to jump in with a slight detraction because more than a call forward.
The other one is a call backwards.
Yes. Well, no, but more than that, I think it's kind of, again, to use the term Moffatism, is that it seems to be a feature of his writing.
He only has so many tropes at his disposal, so I'm going to do this
I think there are definite patterns. I'm not going to limit the man, but
but it doesn't happen all the time. And this is
still, they're big, aren't they? They're not like hidden away little things that happens.
No, absolutely not. But the girl who waited, that was a defining characteristic, and in fact, the moniker of Amy Pond.
So do you think this was his proving ground for that idea?
No, I don't think that they're necessarily connected, but it may be that later on, when Amy Pond was written as a character, it was like, wait, hang on, that really worked, that could work again. But regardless, now that we know that it's going to happen, it warms my heart that we already get to see an iteration of it here. Whatever. Here's what I think. I love the fact that there are different portals through time, even though it makes no bloody sense. I love it. I think it's really cool. And I'm marking it up for that. Anything with time travel is really, really cool. And I mentioned this in an episode with Flapjack, that even though this is a series, Doctor Who is a show about time travel, very rarely do we actually get to have time travel be a narrative feature of the story.
An intra-episode time travel.
Exactly. And it actually be part of the plot structure. Here, the time travel element and the fact that there are discrepancies between different portals and so on and so forth, and that they are actually all interconnected, that's a very important feature of this narrative. That's awesome. We don't get that often enough in Doctor Who. I love it. So bonus points for that. Renette, have to echo you again. Marvelous character. Certainly, the closest we've come to an equal so far. Yeah. We may have had something sort of similar with, I don't want to say Captain Jack. They're more like competing alpha males. But we have, you know what? We've had something similar between him and the face of Bo. Very briefly, because we haven't...
okay, that's a level I can accept. That makes
We
sense.
don't really know the face of Bo yet. We're going to know him, but definitely that was kind of an equal. Renette, even though she's a mere mortal and she's, just a person as opposed to an alien, as in just a human being as opposed to an extraterrestrial, clearly an equal of his, very strong female character, bonus points for that as well. Don't just stick to the stereotype of, women are only good for being chased by monsters and men are there to save them.
Yeah.
So, great. Here's the thing. I freaking love Venice, okay? I lived in Venice. I studied in Venice. I lived and breathed Venice.
This can't be the reason.
This fucking mask. It makes no sense. Okay? That's one thing that pisses me off. The logical plot holes that are introduced by the fact that you can walk into a tunnel that, changes history, obviously immediately, because you go back in time. It should be instantaneous, but then you still have time to go back and do some shit. It makes no sense. You have to jump through a mirror on a horse, which is a cool scene, sure, and you know, well done. There's some CGI and stuff. Great. Why?
Because it's swashbuckling.
It makes no sense, okay?
Swashbuckling don't make no sense.
No, it should make sense. Also, what happened to all the droids? There are bits that just don't make sense.
Well, no, I mean, that's subtext. I mean, you're never going to know what happens to all characters ad infinitum, are you?
No. Missing the point. I'm trying to be funny. Anyway, great chemistry between Doc and Renette, blah, 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 blah. Mickey Ricky doesn't piss me off as much in this one as he normally does. And I'm going to give this a very, very solid 4.4. There you go.
Oh, that's...
You know what? That's a pretty good mark.
Yeah?
4.4 is a good mark.
I'm going to hold you to that now for the rest. The
listeners all know that my ratings are given ad hoc and do not necessarily bear any relevance to any other ratings I've given out. But yeah, 4.4. I love this episode.
Okay, fantastic.
Listener minis.
So we're starting off with Robert Albrecht.
Robert M. Albrecht.
From Germany.
Romal! Yes, our first official German fan.
Hot damn.
How you doing, Rob?
Yeah. Presumably you also you wear Venetian masks in Germany, just as another colonial...
It's on the continent.
Yeah,
I can't imagine that they wouldn't.
Presumably. So, okay, we'll go. You actually wrote an actual mini review, so I think I can read the whole thing out.
Oh, do it.
So, The Girl in the Fireplace, characters get a lot more definition. Certainly agree. Tennant's Doctor really shows its sad and dark side. 100% agree.
Definitely true.
Rose shows a lot more passion, and Mickey is slowly getting more confident. The production values are fantastic. In short, this is perfect. Great acting, great story, great music. One of the best episodes, if not the best.
Holy shit.
I really love this episode. I really love you, Robert M. Albrecht. You're a man after my own. 5 out of 5.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you know what? Robert, he has balls, man. He has balls where you have none. He goes, this is one of the best, if not the best episode. I love this episode. I'm going to give it what it deserves. I'm going to give it what the best episode only deserves.
You may be
5 out of 5.
You may be
not some shitty little 4.8.
You may be more man than me, Robert. That may be true.
Well done, Rob.
I think you're going to have to hope that the new Capaldi season is not as good.
We may need to extend the spectrum.
Absolutely. We might have to call it the Robert rule and go for a 5.1. But that every point I agree with. Okay.
Next up,
we have some maxi reviews.
Yes, we
which
do.
I'm sure listeners you can read them in their entirety on our brand new website.
What a nicely ham-fisted segue.
I've definitely been doing this for a very long time.
Yes, that is very true. We launched a new website. I was up at 4 a.m. people, so you better love the shit out of this site. whobackwhen.com. Yes, these reviews will be on there. They're mega. And you know what? Let's jump into them now. In chronological order, starting with Gallifrey and Buccaneer. Gallifrey and Buccaneer. Alan, how are you doing, sir? Is all well? What was that? Oh, I'm glad to hear it. Alan says... Preface. This is the first episode of Doctor Who I ever saw. Sitting bored, flicking through channels one day as a kid. And in one short episode, Stephen Moffat showed me everything great Doctor Who could be. And so began my love of all things Who. Holy crap. For that sentence alone, I should raise my rating of this episode. Because Gallifrey and Buccaneer is a freaking spiffing Whovian. Yeah. That's already you know what? Well done.
Like me and Robert, none of this nonsense 4.4ness. I'm just saying.
He goes on. The fairy tale aspect that Moffat would embrace in Series 5 comes almost fully formed in this episode. The contrast of the dingy spaceship giving way to Versailles as Renette sees the Fireplace man fight off the monsters that hide under her bed is pure fairy tale and it's brilliance. Renette is at the heart of this episode. She's the MacGuffin for the sinister Clockwork droids, but is characterized as strong-willed, adventurous and wise beyond her years as she takes in her stride all the revelations of her meddled life. Sophia Miles breathes life into the character and is honestly superb, one of the best supporting actors in Who, with great chemistry with Tennant. Yeah, definitely true. Definitely agree with that. He goes on. The dialogue is superbly written. I mean, what else do you expect from Stephen Moffat? And there are some brilliant character character moments. The drunk doctor, Rose and Mickey's back and forth. And of course, Arthur the horse. See? Great. Yeah.
Arthur, yeah.
Alan remembered the goddamn horse.
Fuck that horse.
No matter your opinions on the Doctor as a romantic figure, his relationship with Renette is magical and makes it all the more painful when we learn of her death, awaiting the return of her lonely god. Oh, is that what it was? Not lonely angel.
I think she says lonely angel, but lonely god also kept into my... I think
Very
I mentioned
possibly
lonely
she's-
god a couple of times, so
Yeah.
I don't know. The trope, I think, is well-formed and it's one or the other, isn't it?
I'm going to say Alan is probably right. We're probably wrong.
Probably. Let's just assume that.
Yeah. Holy crap, check this out. He goes on. The idea will be repeated with Amy Pond and the 11th Doctor in a non-romantic way, but I find it so much more powerful here. Maybe it's the actors, the pace of the episode, the music, or just a mix of everything. As Ten reads the letter from Renette and we hear her final words, we get the following shot of the TARDIS dematerializing, explaining the last plot point of the episode, why the robots chose Madame de Pompadour in the first place. The writing is so taut, so perfect in its union of sci-fi, fairy tale, horror, comedy, and tragedy. As with most of Moffat's story, it's human to the core, just like the SS Madame de Pompadour itself. And I love his stories for it. This isn't just good Doctor, nor just good sci-fi, it's something so much more. The girl in the fireplace gets a 5.0 from me.
Oh, I love you, Alan. I love you. I love you and Robert. We should go for drinks and be friends.
Another fantastic mini review there. Thank you so much, Alan. Awesome points. We hit some of the same points there.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and
even though he was able to pinpoint some stuff that we completely glazed over.
I feel so bad about not giving my 5.0.
It's okay,
away.
man. It's okay.
I think I have to. I think I have to for the integrity of the podcast.
Oh, really? You're going to go back? You're gonna
No,
retcon?
not at all. No. I think I need to stick with my 4.8 to leave room for growth. But if I was,
what she said.
if I was a bolder man, I'd agree with both Alan and Robert.
Either way, fantastic. Thank you so much. People who are not Gallifrey and Buccaneer, if you're on Twitter, you're not following this dude, then you should follow this dude. He is at Alan Trussler. That's Trussler with 2 S's.
Okay, so moving on to Stephen, SGamer82. I'm afraid I have neither read this before as well, and am not at all as an articulate enough reader like Leon. So I'm gonna stumble my way through this and try not to butcher your prose. So Stephen says, I wanted to try and make sure I got this review for The Girl in the Fireplace because it goes back to something I'd mentioned in a prior review. Back when I reviewed The Doctor Dances, I brought up Stephen Moffat's style of writing artificial intelligence, specifically his trend to make them simultaneously very clever and very stupid. The nanogenes from the previous episode could repair any organic matter, but weren't smart enough to realise a gas mask was an article of clothing. In this case, you have automatons who were able to repair a ship with living body parts and punch a hole to it in time to allow for them to seek their target in the 18th century, but are so literal-minded that they think they need the brain of the actual Madame de Pompadour for the ship's computer.
Very true.
So true.
Really good point. Yeah,
yeah.
there's a massive contrast there that we totally should have addressed.
Absolutely. But then, I think Stephen's brought up another Moffatism, I think, is in which I think that we could probably track quite a lot of these. I'm not saying he's a lazy writer. I'm just saying that he's got particular concepts that he kind of goes to that well quite a lot. It's a satisfying well, but eventually it'll run dry.
Henceforth, that principle will be known as the Stephen principle.
The Stephen principle. Okay, done. Much like Asimov's various robot stories, the Clockwork droids' actions are driven by flawed programming. On the subject of Asimov, whoever programmed those droids remembering the first law of robotics and have saved everyone a lot of grief.
Yeah, very true.
Fair enough. There's even an asterisk. There's got to be a footnote here somewhere.
Holy shit, there is a footnote.
There is. The footnote being, the first law of robotics is that a robot may not injure a human being or, through inaction, allow a human being to come to harm. So that, so there's a portion where Renette, being Madame de Pompadour, can command them, or at least command them to answer.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about that.
Okay, let's put a pin in that and discuss that after this mini.
Absolutely. So this episode is also a favourite of my younger nieces, who I also mentioned in the Eccleston reviews. Admittedly, it's mostly for
I remember
jokes.
them well.
It's mostly for the jokes with the horse. Fucking horse. I've always enjoyed Moffat's ability to make seemingly innocuous things, in this case a ticking clock, and turn them horrifying. I also always enjoy watching a companion's first TARDIS adventure, so that's Mickey, presumably.
Yeah.
Especially when an already experienced companion is there too. Rose gets to be the voice of experience, showing Mickey the ropes of travelling with the Doctor, while Mickey gets his mind blown on the new wonders around him. Yeah, I mean, we talked about that fairly extensively, didn't we?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's cool. Like I said, I think, Stephen, that Mickey here, instead of being, you know, him having wondrous TARDIS adventures, he's kind of there for a writing feature to kind of maneuver Rose out of the way of the narrative.
Oh, definitely.
I think so. But let me know what you think,
But
Steve.
he's going to grow into something very different.
Yeah, certainly. But I mean, it's not hinted. It's not in any way.
No, not yet.
TARDIS, yeah.
No. At this point, he's still a total knob.
Back to the room. My single biggest problem with this episode is the end. Even if there's no way to include Renette as a companion, much as the Doctor would have liked it, using the fireplace instead of the TARDIS to collect her just seems a very boneheaded move.
God damn right.
God.
Holy crap, that's another good point.
You shut up.
Fucking go back in time and pick her up.
Shut up, there's more.
Oh, that's so true.
There's more of this review.
Oh, Stephen, you are so goddamn right.
No. Because
serious?
This next line doesn't justify it, but actually is one of my biggest problem with Moffat in general. I mean, I know T. Davis, but this one is that he justifies not using it during the crisis because of they're part of events. But it seems once the crisis is over, they should be fine. It's not like he didn't know where to go, and going by the rules Moffat's since established, once the Doctor found her dead and read her final letter, everything is locked in place. Which is the most bullshit part of Doctor Who.
Holy shit, why did I not think of that? So right. So bloody right. God damn it. The next bloody sentence sums it up completely.
A simple trip in the TARDIS could have avoided that.
Yes.
The only thing I can think of is that it was already too late the instant the Doctor left in the fireplace. No, I mean, yeah, you're reaching on some writing that basically does. I'm going to extend my first "shut up" and that's why to you, Stephen, as a listener.
I disagree.
Absolutely, no. I uphold the idea that this is nonsense, but I think that basically we all have to suspend it. Like that's the only way this all works, because none of this makes any motherfucking sense.
No,
otherwise.
it makes no sense. And you know what, Stephen? Don't shut up. Make your voice heard. God damn it, you are so right.
You are very right.
Oh, you know what? I just caught a glimpse of your rating there.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
why don't you wrap this one up, Nick?
Despite that, this episode was a very good one to me. I give it a 4.4.
Nailed it. Stephen.
Maybe the me, Alan, and Robert were blinded by love because Stephen makes some fairly cutting points there.
Yeah.
Having said that, they're all pretty valid, aren't they? Let's be honest.
Yeah, definitely. Hang on. So we've already expressed our agreements with point number 2 there. Why doesn't he just go back in the TARDIS? So bloody true. But there was point number 1. Why does Madame de Pompadour, to a certain degree, command authority over them?
Well, it's because it's part of their boneheadedness, which is, again, actually quite a clever call forward into why are they doing that. Is because they think that they're the ship in which they're trying to,
So she's the ship to them.
Yeah,
and they
of.
answer to the ship.
Which is kind of weird, because then why would you harvest bits from the ship that you're trying to get into the ship?
I don't know, man.
But it's basically faulty programming. Is the point, and they somehow are commanded by her.
Do you reckon part of the reasoning why they're there throughout her life is that they want to keep her safe? Nurture her up to the point where she is complete?
I don't think there's evidence.
Even though that makes no sense.
I don't think there's any evidence for them to. We didn't see anything in which they had an action that benefited her in any way.
Yeah, and also, actually, it doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make sense.
No. If you know that she's going to grow up to be complete at some point, then just bloody go there.
Yeah.
Stupid clockwork droids.
Yeah.
All right.
Right. I think that leaves us off with some a lot of good talking points. So,
people who are not Steven, follow him on Twitter. He is at sgamer82.
Yeah. That's 82, the number.
Fantastic. All right, grand. And like I said, if you were terribly afflicted by my reading voice, you can read these for yourself on our spanky new website.
What? That is a beautiful second hand fist. Did you just double fist that?
I did.
I think you just double fisted that
double
segue.
hand fist.
Yes, seriously, please. Oh my god, so much love, passion, and time went into this thing. So check it out. And Who Back When is not just received a makeover, and that's it. There is more stuff coming there.
Yeah, there's new content. There's awesome things that you might not even get on the podcast, right?
Very, very true.
Yeah,
the Vindex has that's the visual index to you and me. It has a makeover, and it's going to be updated, like properly updated.
Yeah.
Like crazy amounts of thumbnails are going to be on there.
It's amazing. So
Yeah. Don't log on a like GPRS.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell your friends, tell your nan. It's the whole thing.
And more stuff is coming. Holy shit, I'm so excited. I don't want to spoil it. But there is more stuff coming to that website. Holy crap, stay tuned. People who are not Nick.
Hello.
Why are you not following this man on Twitter? He is at Nicolele. That's like ukulele, but with Nick.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. That's a good summation of things.
Yeah. You can follow me as well. I am at Ponken. Here's a soundbite of JD singing how you spell that.
Ponken, Ponken.
Thanks, JD.
Brilliant. So I think that pretty much brings us to an end. Actually, Joe, if you do want to let us know via Twitter and what do you think of the site, or you want to get involved, hit us up.
Yeah, definitely. You can send us your mini reviews. If you agree with us, if you disagree with us, if you agree or disagree with any of the fantastic mini reviewers that we just read out loud, then go to whobackwhen.com, pop a comment there. The next New Who episode is going to be Rise of the Cybermen.
Oh, look out.
Yeah, first time we're encountering Cybermen on Who Back When in TV land. But not the first time in Who Back When.
Oh.
Yeah. If you are a particular fan of Cybermen, check out our audiobook review of Human Resources.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great.
It was a classic Cyberman.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening. We'll be back with another episode soon.
Okie dokie. Thank you. Ciao. Kablamo! Did you enjoy the show? Then please do what the cosmos compels you to and spread the gospel of Who Back When. Tell your friends. Don't have any friends? No problemo. Tell some strangers. Like us on Facebook. That's facebook.com/Who Back When. All in one word. Are you on Google Plus? Then find us on Google Plus. That's plus Who Back When. And when you do, tell us why you're on Google Plus. Who Back When just got its very own Twitter account. No lie. So give us a follow. You guessed it. That's @Who Back When. All in one word. Check us out on SoundCloud, vote us up on Reddit, listen to us on Stitcher, and head on over to our website, whobackwhen.com, where you can leave a comment, submit a review of your own, and peruse our visual index of aliens, monsters, and more, which increases in kablamos with every episode. And lastly, give us a rating and review on iTunes. Not only would it make us super chuffed, and it really, really would, but as thanks, we will transmigrate your iTunes nom de plume into the credit list of trailers for fake Doctor Who audiobooks produced by Who Back When. Have a poke around our bonus episodes to make more sense of that. That's it. Rock on and be rad and excellent to each other. Catch your earballs in our next classic Who review, new Who review, or, still funny, audio Who review. Ciao.
Who Back When?